Harsha, from the venture perspective, what trends are exciting you in the startup ecosystem?
Well, I think, AI is obviously a big trend right now, but it's very broad. So I think what we're seeing, there was an evolution when Gen AI kind of hit the scene to a lot of companies trying to figure out what to do with AI and what it meant to be an AI company. What I think is the most exciting now, though, is that we're seeing a lot of companies kind of go back to their core roots of what are the business problems I'm trying to solve, and leveraging AI to solve those problems without AI necessarily being the front and center of everything. It's kind of under the covers, right? How can AI help me solve some of the same problems that have always been there around customer retention, about buying patterns, fraud detection, kind of all the same use cases that we used to think about. And so I think when I see companies who are building applications that address those issues, address those use cases, and thinking about a new way to build them, a new way to solve them, and in different ways with more advanced features, more advanced capabilities, because of what AI unlocks, those are the companies that are most interesting. And so that's why we're so heavily focused on startups, because those are the companies at the forefront that are building these applications on Snowflake today, of course, is where we care, and doing it in a way that you really couldn't do it before. So it's a more advanced set of capabilities for solving, but I still think are some of the same problems we've been trying to solve for years.
And how does Snowflake Ventures partner with startups?
We're a strategic investor. We don't lead rounds. We come in really to help startups with what we call the customer channel. So go-to-market is a big plus of what Snowflake brings to the table. So when we partner with startups, we're looking at startups that really unlock capabilities for customers in a better together way, right? So how can they work with Snowflake in a more integrated pattern? My background is actually on the product and engineering side. And the reason it made sense for me to be here is we're looking at companies and saying, hey, how can we better integrate, make these more like one solution to solve a problem that wasn't that easy to solve before, bring value to the customers that they weren't getting. And so what we bring to the table is that customer channel, with around 10,000 plus customers, opening up that channel for these startups, and then partnering with other VCs, companies that are at that stage or those early stages. They need capital, they need help with getting their commercial teams off the ground, but they need access to customers. And that's how we really bring the partnership aspect of Snowflake Ventures to figure out how we can unlock those customer channels.
Ben, tell me, what's been the impact of the Startup Challenge for startups?
I think the biggest thing ends up being visibility. So if you ask these startups what they want more than anything, it's more eyeballs on what they're building, their product. So we really try to get them out to as many prospective prospects and customers as we can through this Startup Challenge.
Now, previous year's winners cover a breadth of industries and use cases. What do all the winners share?
They're all good people is something I want to call out. I mean, we've been doing this for 5 years now, and everyone is just a really impressive caliber of person. And I'd also add that they're committed to the process too. I mean, it's a bit of a grind that we're asking them to do, to partake through their application all the way to winning the Startup Challenge. So they need to be all in, and fortunately the ones that have done it in the past have committed to that.
Emily, can you share more about how we're collaborating on the Startup Challenge?
So we started this collaboration. This is going to be our second year in it together. And it came out of this really true alignment in what our missions are, of for you all making the connection, of fostering this innovation in this ecosystem around markets and companies. And for Snowflake, we're the AI Data Cloud. We want companies to come together to share data, applications, ideas, and it was this perfect match. And so we kind of got together and had this idea of how can we foster this next generation of the biggest companies who are one day going to ring the bell, and that was kind of the genesis of it.
And what advice would you like to give to interested startups?
I'm a marketer by trade, and so it's start with the customer. I mean, an idea for the sake of idea isn't worth much, but an idea for the sake of solving a customer's problem is worth everything. So narrow in on who that customer is that you want to solve and make their life easier, and then build from there.